Hi everyone, Ditmus here. Today I'm bringing you my latest Stamina Nightblade PvP build. We are using bow and dual wield like the last time. First off, let me tell you how my build works. So my build is a burst match focused one. It's not about out-sustaining your opponent or long drawn out fights in general. You are just about killing your opponent and that's it. Your main combo with my build will be snipe into weapon swap to dual wield, to ambush and surprise tech, as seen here on the screen. Alright, starting with bow skills, we have relentless focus. You use this mostly just for the regeneration and extra damage. On second slot we have camouflage thunder. You try to keep this up as much as possible, because it's almost a guaranteed kill on vampires if you hit them from stealth. And there's a nice bug with this ability. If you kill a vampire or undead NPC, it stays on until you die. There's no timer or anything. On third slot we have Radiant Mage Light. While it's nice for detecting stealthed players, it's more useful I think for the extra 20% damage you get from Might of the Guild passive of Mage's Guild. And it applies to Focused Aim, which is your fourth slot and your main opener with my build. There's some really nice damage. And fifth slot is optional. You can put here whatever suits the current meta in PvP. And the ultimate slot is Flawless Dawnbreaker because it gives extra damage on your focused aim. On Dual Wield bar we have Ambush, your main gap closer, and you can combo it with Cloak and Surprise Tech to stun your enemy, and there's many uses for it for escaping and so on. On second slot we have Resolving Vigor. You can get this up to 12k or 12.5k with weapon damage buff applied. So it's a really nice heal, gives some survivability to this build. On third slot we have Dark Cloak, your main tool for survival, along with Dodge Roll. And it's used for comboing and a lot of things, so yeah. On the fourth slot we have Killer's Blade. It is mainly used for executing and gives you some nice sustain because it gives you a quick heal after killing an opponent, and it also gives you some magic back from the Executioner passive of Assassination. And fifth skill is Surprise Tech. This is your main damage dealing ability and it also gives the Major Fracture debuff on enemy, meaning you deal more damage and you can use it to stun enemies as well. So it's a really useful skill. On ultimate slot we have again Flawless Dawnbreaker because it gives more damage to your surprise tech and ambush. And it's really good against vampires, you should use it. And we are also werewolves, just for the extra 15% stamina regeneration. Moving on to gear, we have 5 parts of Hunding's Rage, four parts of Morag Tongue, two rings of the Shadow Walker, and Bloodspawn's Pauldron. So the main focus with this gear is to stack as much weapon damage as possible, because as mentioned before, this is a burst damage focused build. You're about killing your opponent, but we do have also a little bit sustain from Bloodspawn's Pauldron. This is mainly just to balance the build out a little bit, and we don't really need a Master's Dagger here to give a little bit more weapon damage. We also use the Tristat Food because this gives you more survivability with health and magicka, and it gives you more damage from the stamina increase, so it's really important to use this, not to drink, because drink really reduces your damage by a lot. Another big part of this build are the potions. So I use 3 kinds of potions and I swap between them with Greymind's Quick Bar add-on. So Panacea of Health is the standard potion you use in general situations. If you're facing Nightblades, you use Panacea of Immovability. It gives you stealth detection, so they can't really cloak around, and gives you also immunity to CC, so it's really useful. Usually decides fights by itself, so it's really good to have them. And the third potion is Panacea of Speed. If I go into a 1vx fight, or if there's just one target with a lot of health and a lot of damage shields, I pop one of these to give me more weapon damage and increase my movement speed in case things don't go as planned. This is how I've spent my champion points. I have 105 points in the ritual, most of them in might because it's passive that gives you most damage. I have 3 points in Thaumaturge and piercing and 8 points in precise, so I would probably put some more in piercing instead. I have 10 points in the shadow, in tumbling, just because I wanted this one, I don't know why. 33 points in Moongolf for the Synergizer passive, which is really nice, and stamina recovery is important. I have 62 points in Tower, most of them in Warlord, because it's most useful for this build. I have also one in Magician because of flat 1% reduction of the cost of Cloak, and other magic abilities I have is it's good value. I also have 1 point in Bashing Focus, just because I use Bash in my rotation. I have 76 points in the Lady, most of them in Hardy, Elemental Defender and Thick-Skinned, because this just reduces the damage you take and it's one step closer to Unchained, which is a really nice passive. I have 30 points in the Steed, just for base passive, which gives you some armor and spell resistance after a roll dodge. 10 of them in Spell Shield for 5% resistance and 10 in Resistant for 5% less critical strike damage taken. And 7 in Medium Armor and 3 in Cloak Expertise. And these are the stats you should have with my build. So 13.4k Magicka. I found that you need at least 12k to cloak around as much as you need to. I've tried with 9k but it didn't really work out. 27k health, this is with Emperor buff. I think you need at least 25k to survive burst damage from other stamina Nightblades. So it's good to have a little bit over it. And 32.4k stamina. This increases your damage by a lot, so try to stack as much stamina as possible. I see a lot of Nightblades going around with 20k stamina and they're not really doing that much damage either, so then we have 524 magic recovery. I don't really have any passives or set bonuses towards this, so but it's enough, I found. 327 health recovery. It's not a lot, but you don't really need health recovery with this build. 1281 stamina recovery. This is what you should have with just one set bonus from Bloodspawn and the 33 points in Moongolf. And the most important part of my build is the weapon damage. I have right now 2881, but it should be possible to get it up to 3k with the offensive scroll buff, which I'm missing currently. And my crit is just slightly below 50k. And we don't have much spell resistance because for one, I'm not using Nern, and two, I don't think you need to use Nern because as a Nightblade you're mostly focused about avoiding damage, you're not about tanking the damage. So it's, in my opinion, better to just go for extra stats from Infused or Divines. That's my opinion. Okay, I think that's going to do it for today. If you have any questions about the build, please leave them on the comment section below. And thanks for watching.